difference in the lives of San Antonians. Somebody who's incredibly forward-thinking, who really gets it. He's a superb orator, a rising star in the Democratic Party. Without further ado, let's introduce Mayor Julian Castro. Welcome to Northern Virginia and to George Mason.
Thank you very much. Are y'all ready to win on November 6th? Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that introduction, Delegate Fillercorn. I appreciated the opportunity to get to meet you at the convention. I want to thank y'all for having me here. This is the first time that I've ever been to George Mason, and I have to say, y'all have a beautiful campus here. It reminds me, my brother and I had the opportunity to go to college together, and that was when we first got involved in politics. In fact, in 1995, I know that I sound ancient now, but when we were juniors at Stanford, he and I had this crazy idea. We heard that the student elections were coming up in a few months. This must have been the fall, and they were going to come up in April. And I told my brother, "Oh, well, why don't we run for student senate?" And so he thought about it for a little bit, and we decided to run for student senate. And at that time, Stanford had a $90 spending limit, and you could vote over the internet already. And so Joaquin and I ran, and we tied for first place with 811 votes. And the thing is, we heard from somebody a few days later that she didn't vote for me, but she voted for him. So I don't know how in the world that ended up as a tie. Somebody liked him more than me, or the other way around. But that was our entry into public service and politics. And so I know that it makes a difference that in college that y'all are involved in your democracy. And too many times these days, people project out there about young people, about college students, that they don't care. And the truth is, not only do y'all care, you matter in this election. So the other night we had an opportunity to see the president remind us of why we supported him in the first place. You know, my favorite passage from his speech was his reminder to us that it takes not just working hard, but also it takes all of us working hard as citizens. We have to commit ourselves as citizens to make a difference. And the truth is, when I had a chance to speak on Tuesday, I spoke about my grandmother who came here from Mexico when she was 6 years old, and she worked her entire life as a maid, a cook, and a babysitter so that my mother could have a chance to go to college. And my mother did go to college. She graduated. My brother and I graduated from high school, graduated from college, went to law school, came home, got involved in our own local community. It's hard to believe for me that I've been involved in public service now for on and off about 11 years. But now when I look to the next generation, and my daughter Karina was there on Tuesday, and she did her hair flip and everything that people seem to enjoy. Of course, it came at the most poignant time in my speech, and people were laughing. I'll get her back one later. But that's the difference in this election to me. When I went to school, when I applied to college, my mother, that year, she made less than $20,000. And my grandmother was getting a Social Security check of several $100s. And Stanford at that time, and y'all know it's even greater, the cost now, but it costs about $28,000 all told for each one of us to go to school. President Obama believes in investing in opportunity in folks right now, in Pell Grants, in lower student loan interests, Perkins loans, so that we can pursue our dreams, so that we can grab up the opportunity that America has to offer, so that this next generation can make America an even greater nation. And that's the difference. That's the clear choice that we have between a president who believes in us, who wants to invest in us, who's going to ensure that there's opportunity in the years to come, and a candidate on the other end that would just as soon everybody just go their own way. I think all of us know that we didn't put a man on the moon individually, each one of us. We did that as a nation. We didn't build the transcontinental railroad individually. We did that as a country. And I know in my own life that it took my own hard work, and it also took a mother who worked hard. It took Perkins loans, Pell Grants, and everything else. So as we get closer to November 6th, I hope that you remember that your voice and your vote can make a tremendous difference in this election. Now, I come from Texas. I'm not kidding myself. I know that Texas is not going to be Democratic this year. Maybe in a few years, but not this year. However, Virginia is another matter. Virginia is one of a handful of states that will decide this election. And y'all know that it was a close race last time. And y'all remember, although I know some of y'all, I'm thinking now of how old you are, you're probably fairly young. I remember being up on election night in 2000 and then waiting almost 40 days for the Supreme Court of the United States to say that one candidate had won that election by 537 votes. Think about that. 537 votes determined the direction of the nation and the following 8 years that we experienced. 537 votes could have turned it around. Does anybody here doubt that if that election had gone the other way, that we would have had a different 2001 to early 2009? I don't think there's any question about that. So, over the next, whether the issue is support for comprehensive immigration reform and the Dreamers, which President Obama has shown, or investing in health care so that millions more Americans can get good health care, or investing in education so that all of us can pursue our dreams, President Obama is on the right side of the issues. He's on the right side of history, and he's going to be the leader that we need to make this century another American century in the years to come. So I wanted to come out here. I wanted to thank y'all for the great hospitality, to say Virginia is a beautiful state. Virginia is also terrifically important. I look forward on election night not to having to wait till 1 a.m. in the morning, but seeing at like 9:30 at night or so the announcement on CNN and ABC and CBS and MSNBC and even on Fox News that Virginia is being called for Barack Obama, and that put him over the top. Thank you. And now, because I know that all of us get amped up, but it's going to take a lot more than that, right? It's going to take us making the phone calls, canvassing, doing what y'all are doing right now. And hey, it's only 58 more days. If we've done that this long, we can do it another 58 days. Please help me welcome Parker, who's going to talk to you about some of the field work.
Thank you all so much for being here today. This is